But do they also tell you like, hey, we need this for some entertainment value, a little back and forth between you and Stephon Marbury or something like that? Do they ever, let you know who's mic'd up and who's not, so you know who you can say something out of line to and who you can't?
No, I mean, you know who's mic'd up. They'll let you know before the game, but the bottom line is you never see those situations live. There are always things that are reviewed ahead of time, and they're going to play them a quarter later after they know that it's okay to be aired. So they look for different things that they think would be a form of entertainment, and it's always a quarter later. They'll go back and say, here's a situation that happened in the first quarter. So they know what they're putting on there, and it would never be a live situation.
When you're, in the situation, like looking at the female referees that have come through, how much better do they have to be than a typical male referee just to get in to refereeing in the NBA?
I think you're looking at it the wrong way. I think the male referees have to be that much better than the female referees. The female referees are getting in solely because they're female, and when the first female referees got in, they got in to defuse a lawsuit that the NBA lost because of a woman suing. So the female referees definitely, in my mind, are slower. They can't keep up with the NBA players like the male referees can, and they're solely there to make sure there's some type of equality, in the officiating program. In my mind, I personally believe they don't belong.
Do you, what do you think the NBA, obviously they have to have a few female referees. What do you think their best course of action is? Is just, slow it down with the number they bring in, or what do you think the best course of action or do you think they're in too deep that they can't go back on it?
I think right now you're always going to see one or two female referees in the league, and I think at this point Violet Palmer's been in the league almost 20 years. She's getting heavy. She's getting slower. I think they're phasing her out. So they just want to make sure that they have at least one or two on the staff to avoid any problems in the court system, and I think that's what they're just doing.
As far as, while you were reffing, what was the worst phone call you got from the league office?
You're always going to be in a situation where you miss a call at a crucial time in a game and it affects the outcome. There's not any referees in the league that have been there for, 10, 15, 20 years that haven't been in that situation. And, you make mistakes, you're human. So, unfortunately, when you do that, you get a call from the league office and they come down on you pretty hard. So, it's not a position that any referee wants to be in, but unfortunately, at times you are.
Looking at the transition from David Stern to Adam Silver, once he came in, at first it looked, it seemed like he was kind of a player's commissioner. He's still that way, but it also seemed like he might be kind of a pushover. And then he dropped the hammer on the Clippers and Donald Sterling. They sold for $2 billion. What is your take on Adam Silver right now? Do you think he's, a good commissioner, good for the league? Do you think he's a breath of fresh air compared to David Stern? And would you have preferred to be, reffing under him versus under David Stern's regime?
I think when you look at him, he's definitely a more personable guy than Stern was. But he's in that position for a reason. He's a very bright and intelligent guy. I think he's going to, lead the NBA to bigger and better things, just like David Stern did when he came in. So he may seem like he's, friendlier and more personable, but I'm sure behind closed doors he's very shrewd, as Stern was, and he's going to do what's, in the best interest of the league and what's going to pad that bottom line for all the owners. So I think that he is definitely going to be somebody that, is going to lead the NBA to bigger and better things.
Now, since you've come back, you've made a few videos on YouTube of questionable ref calls, how they need to be, how they should have been called. In recent weeks, what have you seen that has caught your eye from, across the league as far as officiating?
I think basically it's the same things that have gone on in the past. The star players are still getting the benefit of the doubt. They're getting calls that other players aren't getting. They're still allowing that little extra hop, skip, and a jump to the basket for certain players. And, as we get closer to playoff time and through the All-Star break, you're going to see this, begin to happen tenfold for the, LeBron James and the Dwayne Wade's, the bigger stars in the league. And you're going to see these bigger market teams start to get the benefit of the calls, as they jockey for positions in playoffs.
What is your take as far with the Cavs? Have you noticed anything different officiating wise since LeBron has come back from his 2 weeks off? Before, they were struggled while he was out. He comes back. He's obviously played very well, but have you noticed any difference in officiating from before his injuries to now?
No difference in officiating. I think everyone, from a handicapping view, saw that, Cleveland was going to struggle. When you put a team together like that, you're going to struggle early on. They seem to have come together at this point, and I think come playoff time, they're going to, be a team to be reckoned with. I know Atlanta's playing well. Toronto's playing well, in the East, but, I wouldn't be surprised if, Cleveland continues to improve and get better and gel as a team and comes out of the East.
With Atlanta, how legitimate of a shot do you think they have to win the East? I know it's a nice story. They're playing well. They don't really have a superstar. They have a good front court, great shooters. Jeff Teague's kind of a fringe star player. Do you think that they have a legit shot to get out of the East? And do you think it's going to be tough on them going up against Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, Chicago Bulls team, or a Cleveland team for the NBA to say no to having a Chicago or Cleveland in the finals versus Atlanta with no stars?
Yeah, when you look at Atlanta, come playoff time, the stars get the calls, and you're not going to be able to grab global attention with the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA Finals. So I don't foresee them really coming out of the East. I don't see them getting the benefit of the calls come these tight, close playoff games. I see a team like Cleveland getting them with LeBron, with Irving, with Love. So it's a situation where come playoff time, I think that they're going to struggle, and I don't see them getting out of the East.
Looking at Cleveland, Kevin Love, he had a great game today against the Lakers, but he's been kind of, the way they're having him play is not the way the type of player Kevin Love should be. He should, they're having him be a corner 3-point specialist, essentially. What is your take on what Cleveland has done with Kevin Love right now?
I think that they're not putting him in the position that Minnesota put him in that was able to make him so successful. And I think that they need to get back to the basics, review tape, and see, why he was the player that he was coming out of Minnesota, and put him in that position in Cleveland, which is going to not only benefit him, but benefit the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I think that they're, starting to do that a little more. And, I think once they do that, moving forward, that they're going to be more successful. I think that, this coach is getting his feet wet, and they're starting to move forward in a positive way and put together a string of wins. And come playoff time, I think they're going to be the team out of the East to be reckoned with.
Do you think David Blatt's, being a young coach or his first-year head coach in the NBA, do you think he's going to struggle come playoff time? Working the referees, not having when he barely has the respect of his own locker room. How difficult is it going to be for him to get the respect of the referees come playoff time?
Or do you think it's difficult for him? I think what's going to happen is LeBron's going to step in and he's going to take over. He's going to have the respect of the referees. You're also looking at Love and Irving who, get those star-studded calls. So I think that, come playoff time, those guys are going to be the ones that are going to be on the referee rather than the coach. And, they're going to earn and continue to get the calls that, they're deserve in the positions that they're in.
In Oakland with the Golden State Warriors, you got Steve Kerr, rookie head coach. He's gotten quite a few technicals early on here. They're off to a quick start. What do you see as far as his relationship with the referees? Do you think he's doing the right things by taking technicals at certain times? Do you think he's going to cause problems by getting all these technicals early on? What's your take on Kerr right now?
I think as a player, Kerr was always a very likable guy. He was always very personable. As a coach, you have to demand respect. You have to, have the referees fear you to a certain extent that, you're not going to be a pushover, and that marginal call you have to fight for. And he has to let the referees know that if he doesn't get it, he's going to be all over them. And that's what it's about. It's about, having these referees, fear these coaches, and come playoff time, he's going to demand respect and demand that he gets those marginal calls, and he's going to go after the referees if he doesn't.
Does the fear go out the window when reports start surfacing that the front office is at odds with a coach? Like, say, with Tom Thibodeau in Chicago, there's reports out that he's probably going to be out after the season if the Bulls don't, essentially the Jim Harbaugh treatment. Does the referee's tone towards a coach change when they find out something like that?
To a certain extent it does, but you always know that you're going to see that coach resurface with a different team. So you always want to give him that fair shake, because you always know you're going to see him again, at a different point. And, the coaches all, rate the referees, and you don't want your rating to be affected. And you're always going to try and give that guy a fair shake.
All right. A couple more things before I let you go. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about ref picks. It is not ref picks, PICS, like I tweeted out earlier. It's PICKS. It's picking games, not pictures of referees, thankfully. But with ref picks, tell us a little bit about it. How is it going this season? What your record's like? How's it going so far?
Refpicks.com is a website where we put out some gambling advice for the casual gambler that likes to bet on football, basketball, baseball, any really sport that has a Vegas line to it. There's 15 or so different handicappers there, and you can look at their documented record. And for the most part, it's been a successful year. Just like anything in life, you have your ups and downs. But right now, I've been on a little bit of a run lately. So if you're looking for NBA plays, I'm certainly one of the guys that has some good advice on there in handicapping games. And we got a bunch of guys on there that do very well. So for the casual gambler, and if you're interested, there's check out the site and see what you think.
Does it amuse you when, you guys have every single pick that you guys have made. You guys stand by your picks. You have your records. You don't hide your records. Does it amuse you when you see other handicappers out there that don't acknowledge their losses? They only acknowledge their victories?
It's basically, for the most part, you have to be fair with people and let them know that, you're not going to win every game, because you're just going to have somebody who's going to be disappointed. And that's the last thing we want is, in this internet age of people just burying the site on the internet, we want people to, know that, there's records that are posted there, and everyone's records there, their wins along with their losses. So, it's not a situation where you're going to win every game, and we want everybody knowing that going into it.
And before I let you go, do you want to tell everybody where we can find you on Twitter? Anything else you have coming out, and anything else from Tim Donaghy?
Basically, the website is where I'm at. I'm also on Facebook, and all my information or contact stuff is at the website, refpicks.com. And, I get back to everybody, as long as they have a legitimate question. And, if anybody needs me, that's how they can get in touch with me.
Awesome. Well, Tim, I appreciate you coming on. It's an honor to talk to you. Always great conversation, and I hope to have you on again soon.
You got it, pal. Anytime. You know that.
Thanks. And we'll be right back here on the Bob Sullivan Show here on LateNightSportsRadio.com.